We have in the studio join us two of our favorite culinary friends here in the city. Two of the most trusted voices when it comes to the truth on food, not only in Little Rock, but you guys have broadened your horizons to places, foreign places like Memphis and now Dallas. Big trip with some food friends recently. Glad to have Daniel Walker and Kevin Shalin, also known as the Mighty Rib, in the studio with us tonight. Guys, welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Well, say that. Give us that one more time. The old hot mic wasn't on us.
Yeah. We're happy to be here.
Thank us one more time.
Thank you, Blake and Rex. You guys are the trusted voices in food radio. So
well, both of us.
You know, Memphis, Dallas, they're hitting all those surrounding states.
We've got a few more.
Shreveport and Tupelo can't be very far behind now.
Well, next up is Kansas City. It's going to be in the spring.
That's fun.
Yeah.
So back to the story that people may think I'm lying about. Saturday at 1 o'clock, my wife, our daughter's birthday party is at 2. It starts at 2 at some farm out that my wife had booked out in the middle of nowhere. It turned out great. Ivy Wild Farm. It was a wonderful party. The kids loved it.
They had one of those corn mazes or something?
For 48 hours, it was, honey, what do I need to do? What do I need to pick up? What do I need to get? Tell me, oh, I've got it. We're good. There's nothing you need to do. At 1 o'clock, hey, hon, I need you to stop and pick up the kid. Run by Mickey. Oh, yeah, just Mickey's. It's just right. It's not even the other side of town, not even close to our house. I'm in a hurry. I'm not even going to tell you what my wife told me I looked like, but if you've ever seen me in boots and one of those nice plaid flannel, it was an interesting combo for me. So I'm hoping I can just duck in and not see anybody I know. And Mickey's is the best. You're not going to find better cakes here in town than Mickey's. Dip in, and who do I run into but our good friend Daniel Walker, and he's in there just staring through the glass.
Oh yeah! Did you expect anything else?
Cookies and cakes, and his son's with him, and his son's just doing the same
my son
thing.
I don't even pay attention to him. I mean, there's cupcakes there.
If they had iced him, you would have probably tried to eat him. kind of a scary deal.
Yeah, I think that at one point they stopped me staring at the cupcakes because he was like jumping into a vat of batter or something like that. But no, Saturday 1 o'clock, that is my Mickey's Cupcakes time. 3 o'clock, you would have found me up at Cupcakes on Kavanaugh. 4 o'clock is somewhere else.
Just getting your fix.
So the whole afternoon's devoted to
it's Saturday.
He's not lying.
No, he's not. No, I know.
It's Saturday.
Yeah.
It was almost an awkward conversation because he was trying to rush me and get me out of there, and I was trying to get out of there before I ran into anybody else I knew because it was.
Well, Blake, you haven't lived life until you've been standing next to Daniel at a cupcake place. It'll remain nameless, and he orders 2 cupcakes and then tries to pay with it with his driver's license.
Yeah. And sweat
yeah, it's
for a good cupcake.
Yeah,
a lot of people do that because they have a drinking problem and they don't know they're in some euphoric state or they're out of it and they try to pay with their driver's license. You, on the other hand, have a sugar deficiency that must be fixed immediately.
I'm being 100% honest. I think I've told people this before, but I realized I had a problem. We were in Memphis and we were kind of changing in our hotel.
How many people have started a story? I realized I had a problem when I was in Memphis, and then it just. I know where this is headed.
Maybe this is going a different direction, but we were all 4 just kind of sitting in our hotel room, thinking about where we're going to go for dinner. We're dressing up, putting on our cologne, and Kevin took a shower for the one time of the week. But
I like how you added the cologne to this. Bunch of dudes on a food trip. Let's throw that cologne on.
We were within less than a block, about 40 feet from this cupcake place we've been wanting to try, and I couldn't stay in that hotel. I was starting to get the shakes. I'm not kidding.
Yeah, I witnessed it. He was getting the shakes. We were making fun of him.
If you guys want to just sit here for a while, then I can go over to the cupcake place and meet you guys back here. Just let me know. If you guys really don't want to do it, I'll just rush over there and get something to go.
This is no exaggeration.
It was the longest hour of my life.
Well, what's amazing, most people that you talk to that had some sort of cake and cookie infatuation would look like just a morbidly obese, diabetes commercial waiting to happen. You look like you haven't eaten in 2 weeks.
Look at him. He's got his cardigan on. He looks like a frail old woman sitting next to me here.
I mean, his cardigan looks like it's on a clothes hanger right now. Like it doesn't even look like it's on a human being.
The word cardigan, I don't think it's ever been used on this show.
It's amazing.
Well, the weather's getting cooler. Switch from jorts to cardigans.
Yes.
That's the game plan.
Yes. Well, we want to hear all about the trip to Dallas, specifically the one place that I have not, and I don't say there are a lot of places I've been, but there's one spot down there that has eluded me, and it kills me. And I've got buddies that every time I get pictures from there, and it's almost just pushing it in my face. Obviously, speaking of the Great Pecan Lodge, but I want to hear about this Dallas trip, beginning to end, kind of who all went and everything about it.
You want to go, Daniel? You want me to take it? Well, it was pretty small. In Memphis, we had 4 guys, and with Dallas, me and Daniel drove down there, and we met a foodie that used to live in Little Rock. His name is Lewis, and he now lives in Dallas, and we coordinated it, and this was really Daniel's show. I mean, we all kind of had a hand in putting together the Memphis trip, and we went about this trip a lot different. We only went to maybe 6 places as opposed to 18, and of those 6, 3 of them were restaurants. The other 3 were quick. Like, we went to this chocolate shop, and then we went to a donut shop, which were utter failures, by the way, and I'm blaming that on him. But the 3 restaurants we went to were Cane Rosso and Lucia and the Pecan Lodge. And I got to admit, I'm born and bred Houston, and you're conditioned to hate everything Dallas.
That's right.
And
it's part of it,
it's just part of who I am. And I have to admit, those 3 restaurants could hold their own with any place I've eaten in the country. So they're really amazing eating experience. And Daniel's the one who recommended all 3.
Yeah, and just regarding Pecan Lodge, I was skeptical, to be honest. I lived in Dallas for a number of years, and to be completely honest, for a long time, years, the Dallas barbecue scene was not good.
Awful.
It was
awful.
Not good.
And I'm with you. And there's still places that are operating.
Chain barbecue.
Yeah. Well, there's still places that are operating down there that I have friends will be like, "Oh, you'll love this," and you're like, "No." So I'm like you when they say, "Oh, you're gonna love it," and like, I'm not standing in line for Texas barbecue because there are really only 4 or 5 good places in the whole state that are worth it, and none of them have been in the Dallas metro.
And I've been to those places. You're probably thinking of the ones in Lockhart, the Kreitz Market, and the Smitty's, and Franklin Barbecue in Austin is renowned worldwide as being one of the best Texas style barbecues, and I've been there, and it is fantastic. So I was skeptical. Pecan Lodge is pretty new to the barbecue scene, and so I had not been there even when I was living there, but I have to admit, it was maybe all around the best barbecue I've had in Texas.
What did you like? I always get pictures from friends that go there, and I'm a glutton for punishment too, because I think I follow them on Instagram, and I follow Barbecue Snob, who's the barbecue the food writer, the barbecue writer for Texas Monthly,
barbecue editor,
and
it's editor in the country.
It's amazing. It's just stupid for me to do it, because you start looking at it, and you're at the office, and it's like 2 in the afternoon, and you just finished lunch an hour ago, and I hope my wife's not listening. This shouldn't be what I'm embarrassed for her to hear, but I don't want her to be able to. And I'll like leave and like quickly run up to even like Whole Hog or anywhere, Sims, anywhere, and be like, I just need something. What do you got? I'm like you with the cupcakes. I'm like, I just need some meat and some barbecue or something. What do you have that you give me something?
Well, we got our fix. That's for sure there.
But I get the picture from Pecan Lodge, and that beef rib that they have looks like it's cooked perfectly, and it looks like something that Fred Flintstone's car was tumped over. In the Flintstone, they throw the deal and the car tumps over. It looks like that. It's that big, but it's that perfectly done too.
Yeah, it was phenomenal.
We waited in line an hour and a half before it opened.
What time did y'all get there?
We got there at 9:30, opened at 11.
How many people were there at 9:30?
We were the first ones.
We were the first. Okay.
But by the time it opened, it was, 100 people deep in line?
Wow.
So we would have had to wait regardless, so we were happy to be there, more than happy to be there. And I will never forget, Daniel, he stepped up, he was the first one to order, and he said, well, I'll have 2 beef ribs. And I think the guy came back with him. He said, that'll be $45. And Daniel's like, wait. And each beef rib is about a pound. Yeah. So
he'd ordered 2 pounds of beef.
Yeah, I had no idea it was that much. So I scaled it down.
Glad I didn't order the rack. God, you're telling us.
Yeah, so... Yeah, that would I'll never forget that. And when you go with 3 guys and there's no one to get in your way, we ordered everything. We ordered everything on the menu, and we were contemplating not getting like the fried chicken, for example. And I looked at Daniel, I was like, well, who knows when we're going to be back to here? And so we got. Well,
and look, chicken. You're a blogger too, and you're a foodie, and you want to hear the one of the most satisfying things in the world. If you were talking to somebody about Pecan Lodge, like me, and they're like, oh, the beef rib. What about the brisket? And you're like, But the fried chicken, you haven't had the. You want to be able to at least talk about it or try it. Yeah, I mean, that's the fun part of this.
There'd be people who'd be like, "Oh man, have you had the baked potato and all this?" And someone would say, "Oh, if you haven't had the fried chicken, you haven't experienced Pecan Lodge." So we had everything. Yeah. And I think Kevin brought home 10 pounds of beef to go.
I did.
10 pounds of barbecue to go.
I thought about my family when I was there. I wasn't selfish like you, and I ordered. I ended up spending about $100 just on myself that day, and I ordered something called the Trough, and it had a little of everything, and we ended up eating all last week. And the thing about barbecue, you eat it once or twice in a row, and you don't even want to look at it for another month. I couldn't get enough of this stuff. So I will say my blog is named after a barbecue eating experience in Kansas City, Oklahoma Joe's. And I've just got to echo what Daniel said about Pecan Lodge. I really believe when you put everything on the table, it was the best barbecue eating experience I've ever had.
So let's say somebody's going to go to Pecan Lodge. First of all, where is it?
It's in Dallas. There's the Dallas Farmers Market,
right?
And it's really kind of an odd location because they have just a bunch of little vendors inside this covered pavilion, and Pecan Lodge is just this little vendor inside the Dallas Farmers Market. And it was open when I was there, but it wasn't nearly as popular until it kind of started hitting the food scene with the Barbecue Snob kind of throwing it some acclaim and that kind of thing. But.
And look, if you're into barbecue, follow the Barbecue Snob on Twitter and especially on Instagram. I would highly recommend not looking at Instagram during the day while you're at work if you're like me and you can't help yourself.
Yeah, if you like barbecue, Daniel Vaughn is a.k.a. the Barbecue Snob. The guy does phenomenal work, He's the
barbecue editor for Texas Monthly. He's the only barbecue editor in the country, or maybe in the world, and is the barbecue editor for Texas Monthly. He drives around and eats barbecue.
Gave up his professional career to do this.
Yeah. Right. And I'll say this: if you follow him on either, like a quality editor or blogger or any food person that's in the business of giving their opinion should be, he is brutally honest. I mean, he will be sitting there and tweet or Instagram a picture of the food, and he'll go, ugh, or this this tastes like I'm just chewing on old hickory, burnt hickory. It's awful and too much smoke, and he's really serious about it. If you go to Pecan Lodge at the Dallas Farmers Market and you're not going to spend $100, okay, if you're going to get 2 or 3 things, what do you suggest that people get?
You got to get the beef rib, period. End of story. That bite that Daniel gave me when he ordered the beef rib, all my beef ribs were to go. It was the best bite of barbecue I can imagine. And, the one thing I ordered that I thought was kind of fun, and you ended up, I think, liking it even more than I did, Daniel, was that big barbecue sweet potato called the Hot Mess.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
that sounds good.
Oh, my goodness.
Barbecue sweet potato.
Wild.
Yeah, it was
had beef in it?
It had a
barbacoa.
Barbacoa.
It was beef barbacoa.
And a chipotle, sour cream sauce. And, it just was perfectly named. And it gives you a little taste of everything there. So that's what I'd go with. I'd go with that beef rib.
How was the fried chicken?
It was great. It was really good. There's some good fried chicken in Dallas, and so it was up there with Babe's. Babe's was always one of my favorite places in Dallas, and there's good stuff here. I think that Gus's does a pretty good job too. So
very different than Gus's, not as seasoned, but juicier.
Gus's is in a whole different, not world, but it's just a different type
and thing, yeah.
And it sets it apart from other folk. Doesn't make it bad. I think it's good. I like other styles of fried chicken just as much, but for my money. I'm a big Gus's fan. I can go eat about 20 of those fried chicken thighs now.
You need to check this fried chicken out. It's pretty amazing.
I think.
Go ahead.
I think the last word I'd say on Pecan Lodge, anyways, is I've talked to a lot of Arkansans who are really fixated on pork, and I understand that pork is king here in Arkansas. And I've even met some people, some well-known foodies here in town who don't even consider beef to be barbecue in any respect. And so I can understand that. Obviously Texans have a different viewpoint, and I think that until you've tried superb Texas barbecue, until you've tried superb brisket, it's difficult for you to really judge whether or not
and a lot of that's born out of if Texas thinks this way, the hell with that. We're going Oppo. Whenever Texas thinks we're going Oppo.
I gig my wife, who's a native of South Texas.
Now I'm a pork guy through and through. If I have the choice between pork and beef, and just about anything, unless we're talking about steaks, I'm going pork. That being said, you're dead on with.
I think you got to give it a shot, and if you're going to give it a shot, you go with the best, and you judge based on that. And for your money, I don't think you'll find a better place that does a better brisket than Pecan Lodge. Franklin Barbecue in Austin is right up there with it. Those two.
So you're saying that you think the Pecan Lodge brisket is better than Franklin's in Austin?
Jeez, I don't know. That's a tough decision.
I'm putting you on the spot with this.
It is a tough decision. If Aaron Franklin is out there listening right now, I hope he is, because he is a wizard. I gotta say, I really enjoyed my brisket at Pecan Lodge. It maybe edged it out. I think the pork ribs were better at Pecan Lodge, and I think that the brisket was. I'm sorry, the pork ribs are better at Franklin. And the brisket was better at Pecan Lodge. Just my opinion, Aaron Franklin. I'm sorry, I had to say it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I echo it again. It was a fantastic experience, and I'm a Texas guy, but I prefer pork over beef. That's one of the reasons I'm so happy living in Arkansas. And you know what? Our barbecue in Little Rock is lacking. There's no other way to say it. Inside Little Rock, it's lacking. It needs to be better. And the best barbecue I'm having is on the weekends with our buddies.
They had a big one this weekend, too.
My whole weekend, it was like the best weekend of my life.
I think that was the one part of the conversation that Daniel actually had with me, that he wasn't glazed over at Mickey's.
Yeah, it was quite a weekend of pork for me. I went to 2 cookouts on Saturday, and then on Sunday I got to experience the Travis McConnell feast that he puts on for private events.
He does a great job with that.
Wow, it's amazing. Really super nice guy, too. It's the first time I got to spend a little bit.
And we talked about him a little earlier. We really hope, and if you're out there listening, Travis McConnell of Butcher and Block does a fantastic job. Has kind of been trying to find the funding to have more of a brick-and-mortar storefront deal, and instead of doing more pop-up and more events. If you're out there and you're looking to fund a heck of a deal, Travis McConnell is that guy. I mean, I think everybody's just kind of waiting for that to hit for him.
Well, he was on point yesterday. I can certainly vouch for the product, and I've had some of his sausages at the Bernice Garden Farmers Market on Sundays, and just a super guy, someone you certainly can root for, and hopefully does well in the future.
Well, let's talk about other places you went while you were in Dallas that you liked or didn't like. I mean, what else was on the roadmap?
Well, I mean, I would venture to even say my favorite restaurant in Dallas is Cane Rosso. It's like Cane, R-O-S-S-O. Cane Rosso is this little Neapolitan pizza place. I am a pizza fanatic, and really it was Cane Rosso that made me fall in love with pizza. I love Neapolitan pie, and I know everyone has their kind of favorite style of pizza. I don't think, in my opinion, you can get a finer pizza than Neapolitan pie. It is, simple. It is refined. It's not complicated. It's not overly greasy. Cane Rosso, a guy named Jay Jerrier, opened it up a few years ago. My wife and I were one of the first people to actually try it. He ran a pizza business off the back of his truck in a little wood-fired grill or oven that he had. And, I think the place just does some phenomenal pizza. I was really hoping that Kevin would enjoy that, because I think that was always one of my favorite places in Dallas. And it's a must-try every time I'm in the city. You got to go to Cane Rosso.
Where is it again?
They've got a couple locations now, but the original one, my favorite, is still in Deep Ellum.
Deep Ellum, yep.
Deep Ellum, is it's a booming neighborhood now. And when I moved there about 5 years ago, it was just a hole in the wall.
Right.
People were on their way out. They were trying to get out of Deep Ellum, and
they had the Deep Ellum Blues.
Yeah, well, since Cane Rosso came in, people have been trying to get in that neighborhood like crazy, and it's really blossomed, and Cane Rosso has been kind of at the forefront of the culinary scene in that neighborhood, so we loved it.
Yeah, we each ordered 3 different styles of pizza, and we were able to kind of pick off each other's plates, and it was a beautiful restaurant, wonderful service, and it was a very unique style of pizza, and it certainly lived up to the hype, because you were hyping it up for weeks in advance. And
how nervous were you going? And this isn't. I've joked enough with Daniel tonight. This isn't picking on you, Daniel.
I can take it.
Well, obviously, you would be here personally. You would be here personally. But anytime you go into a situation with a friend or anyone and they've hyped something up, especially when you're talking about food, and especially if you're in the food world like you guys are, how nervous were you, Kevin, or how skeptical do you immediately become? And so I was like, no, it's that good. Do you kind of go, just tell me that I may like it? Don't make me go ahead and put it on this pedestal to where I'm going to... When you hear that, are you looking closer at the food, or are you taking a step back to try and enjoy it more because you don't want to overdo it, or what?
Well, from Dallas's perspective, this was his show, and I know for a fact he felt the pressure. Daniel felt the pressure that we weren't going to like, and I know that because he works with my wife, and she told me how nervous he was about us liking Dallas. From my end of it, a lot of times when you recommend a place and you hype it up to someone, it's a slippery slope because sometimes subconsciously people would just kind of say, you know what, I'm automatically not going to like it as much as you're going to like it. And
he knew you being a Houston guy, he had that extra bar to clear.
Yeah, so he was a little nervous about it, but we hang out so much. We kind of know each other's styles now, and I bet deep down he knew this was these places were gonna bring it. And if they do, I'm the first one to admit it, like I just did. I hate everything about Dallas, but yeah.
So you enjoyed the cowboy loss yesterday?
Oh yeah, are you kidding me? And I'm enjoying
Detroit goes the length of the field with no timeout.
Hey, and I'm excited about my Rockets. They're going to beat up on the Mavericks this year and for years to come.
Well, the Rockets have become the Arkansas Razorback pro team with Ronnie Brewer there, Patrick Beverly. I think B.J. Young got cut, but it was to put him on the practice squad.
Those Astros didn't exactly have a stellar year.
Yeah, but you know what? They got the guy from the Cardinals that put the Cardinals in the World Series. So we check back in 3 years. I think we might.
I'll get us back on the subject.
Yeah. All right. So did I say it right? Cane Rosa.
Cane Rosa. If you want to look it up, it's C-A-N-E, like Cane.
Yes.
R-O-S-S-O. Great place.
All right.
Definitely
Where else?
a must in Dallas. And then lastly, the third kind of actual meal we had when we weren't eating cupcakes or chocolate was Lucia. And, we were kind of on an Italian kick a little bit. And this is a fairly different style of Italian. It's probably closer to a northern Italian type place. It's in the Bishop Art District. Bishop Arts is also kind of this booming little neighborhood in Dallas with great food. Lucia is so popular, I'm not joking. They put a listing on their website saying when they're going to start taking reservations for the following month.
Wow.
And so it would be, let's say, November 1st, they'll start taking reservations for December.
Now, how legit is that? Because I know there are some restaurants that have their supposed reservation line that it's just a recorded message saying, sorry, we were booked for the next month.
And within 15 minutes of them opening for reservations, you can't get a weekend. You can't get a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Within 15 minutes. Yeah. And so we
it's
actually
a small restaurant, too.
It's a small restaurant.
Yeah.
We were actually lucky. We didn't even have a reservation, but Kevin flashed his diner reviewer card, and I'm just kidding.
No,
he doesn't have one of those.
It was kind of funny. It could have been
probably had on that cologne we were talking about, and they just couldn't resist. And they're like, "Oh, we've got you a table right here, sir."
Well, we just took a shot with it. We had another place reserved, another restaurant, and we said, "Well, let's just stop. We're here. Let's see if we can get in." And we walked up, and I'm not kidding. Right before us walks through this family of three, mom, dad, and this 13-year-old daughter. And they said, "You have any places at the bar to sit?" "Yeah, we've got 3 spots. It's our last 3. And the daughter's kind of like, "I don't know if I want to eat here, Dad." And the dad's like,
"I want
no.
chicken McNuggets."
Yeah. And they take our 3 seats, and we are just dejected. And but we
started crying at that point, and
internally I did. They ended up. We got desperate, and they set up a table on the sidewalk, and it was kind of chilly last weekend in Dallas. But he didn't have on his cardigan at first. He went and got it, and that made the evening.
Did have the cardigan in the car? Huh?
Yeah, he had it in the car.
Okay.
So we sat out on the sidewalk and froze our behinds off. But it was a fantastic meal, and it's the type of food that it's execution at its finest. It's at another level. It's at places. You're going to find places like Lucia in your big metropolitan cities. You're not going to find it. I don't want to disparage Little Rock, but it's another level of restaurant in my opinion.
It did kind of remind me. I think that you guys talked with Lee Edwards about that Andrew and Michael Italian Kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
It's that level of execution in Memphis, and I had an equally great experience at Andrew Michael Italian Kitchen. And this Lucia, they make, of course, in a restaurant of this caliber, they're making all their pastas by hand daily. They're harvesting fresh oysters. We had some really great food, and the service was excellent. and I think pretty reasonably priced too. So we did drop a lot of money, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean, but we got oysters from Cape Cod. You know, we lived it up, and
so if somebody makes the food road trip to Dallas, these 3 places are definite must. So Pecan Lodge, but you got to get there early. Cane Rosa, great pizza. And is it Lucia or Lucio?
Lucia.
And if people want to find background on these places, they can obviously go to either blog and check it out.
Yeah, I recently did a post on Eat Arkansas.
Read it last
week about the 3 places we went to. It's, I lived in Dallas for 4 years, and my wife and I probably ate at 300 restaurants while we were there. It's really ridiculous to kind of summarize the entire city of Dallas in 3 places, but definitely all those places are worth a hit. And if we go back again, maybe I'll do another post. So,
yeah, I mean, if we went back next year, I don't have any complaints. So.
I think you'll still have some Pecan Lodge beef in your fridge by the time y'all go back. So maybe they can do some sort of trade out.
All right, enough this Texas mess, because I'm not going down there anytime soon. Any breaking news in the Arkansas restaurant scene?
Well, you'd be proud of us, Rex. We went to Doe's last week.
Yep, we did.
Yeah.
How was it?
We really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Kevin's been trying to convince me to enjoy tamales. I know it's maybe sacrilege, but I've never been a big tamale person.
But you haven't been over to East Arkansas to the tamale factory yet.
Well, you know what? After
trying to pull me that way.
I mean, I posted about the Doe's experience, and I got a lot of feedback, and the tamale factory came up immediately. And then I Googled it, and then I read your article, which was fantastic. And then immediately a couple guys wanted to plan a road trip, and so it's going to happen soon.
Take Blake along. He's mad at me.
Well, it's a sore subject. It's a sore subject.
Well, going back to Doe's, I just love the place. I love the atmosphere, and a tamale to me is far different than what I had at Doe's, but I certainly can respect what they're doing with it. And
it's a Delta tamale. Yeah, I mean, there is a real difference from Delta tamales and Mexican tamales.
Yeah, and it was my first experience with it, and I really enjoyed it. The tamale on its own was good. The chili on its own was good. Together, it was really, really fabulous.
You got to get a little of Panola, either the Panola red or Panola green on top of that my Pavlovian response again.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Little Rock restaurant scene, before it hit Arkansas Times last week, may have gotten a little tip that Donnie Furneaux is trying to do a reality show.
It's going to get me in trouble.
Yeah.
Well, I read what you were
how much of this
pitch for that.
How much is
kind of wild?
I don't know a whole lot about it, to be completely honest with you. My colleague Michael Roberts wrote the piece.
Yeah.
And
I read it.
And
I didn't catch it. I did.
They quoted from the pitch for the show. And look, I am not beautiful enough. I'm not hip enough to ever be in the restaurant. From reading the pitch for the television show,
I'm doing my best to kind of meet that minimum level of.
Okay, well, didn't mean I was just trying to toss that out. I missed.
Embarrassed that is turned away at the velvet rope. If
I to be honest, I like Donnie Furneaux. I think he's got some great ideas. I'm excited for his restaurant to open. I really can't speak personally to what's going on. I'm not really.
I don't know.
Sure.
I just saw the somebody sent me the slides of kind of presenting each person and the character and what they would kind of. I guess the pitch, what it was. I didn't see the Eat Arkansas. I didn't mean to toss that out. I haven't read it. I didn't get a chance to read any Eat Arkansas last week, which I normally read weekly, but.
I think it might happen. And if you know Donnie Furneaux, he's the perfect person for TV. He's got that personality. He's got the smile. He's got the charm. I think that if it happens, then he'll probably be great. And honestly, I wouldn't mind if it happened. I hope that we can.
I think it'd be good. I think it'd be good. It'd be interesting. It'd be kind of a different twist on Little Rock.
Absolutely.
I would personally, just for the hell of it, at least one episode. The pilot probably do the pilot, and then he'd back out forever. A Lee Richardson show would be.
Oh man, I want to sit down with that guy.
That would be just too
I
deep.
I think I said this last time.
That would have to go on the Philosophy Channel or something.
Boy, you talk about. I mean, we've talked about it countless times. You talk about a guy that I just want to see in the kitchen.
I love that guy. If you ever get a chance to get to know him, and I have a little bit, I'm not going to act like I'm one of his on a short list of phone calls, but he. he's a good guy. He's a lot of fun. He's a lot funnier than I think people would ever imagine because he keeps everything kind of close to the vest.
Kind of like Kevin.
Exactly like Kevin. Yeah.
Exactly like me.
Or in your case, close to the cardigan. And he, but he would be an interesting guy. That being said, if a camera was on him, it would be it wouldn't happen. It wouldn't. But it would be fun to watch. And he's somebody that I think y'all would really enjoy getting to know.
I tell you, I didn't want to say this, but I kind of ran into him yesterday at this event. I ran into him. Well, literally kind of came from behind, and I was like, whoa, you're Lee Richardson. And, it was just one of these things where we were eating, and I didn't want to bug him, and, I just didn't bug him. But he was there, and I was tempted. I'm always trying to figure out what he's up to, but I left it alone.
I'm willing to bug him. Lee, if you're there, shoot me an email.
We want to know what you're up to. That's right.
I want to sit down and have some tamales with you.
Lee, if they somehow call you and you're listening right now, I did not give them your number, and I apologize if they did. Yeah. But no, I think he's going to figure something out here soon.
There's rumors.
Well, like I said, I hope he gets back in the kitchen.
Me too.
He's one of the best chefs we have in this town. Same with Furneaux. I just want to eat their food. All the other stuff, so be it. Just want to eat.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Now
Kevin Shalin, Daniel Walker. Yeah,
I'm hungry.
Yeah, I'm going to be the guy driving.
Bring food with you next time.
I thought about it.
We're going to let you back.
I'm going home and making a Totino's pizza.
Oh yeah. More I'm going to get on that challenge, by the way.
More about that.
I'm going to get on that challenge. Daniel Walker, Kevin Shalin, thanks for joining us. Thanks for taking time, spending time with us on a Monday night, and we will see you on the radio. Have a good one.